Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we'll be talking about a large and dangerous winter storm that is going to be brewing across the United States. It is actually already occurring across the Southwestern United States, and unlike some of my other videos where there's a long heads up out ahead, I sometimes create videos several days out ahead of a storm. This one is not far out. This one will be occurring Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday across the Midwest, Northeast, South Central United States. Anything from severe weather to heavy snow. And you can see right here I've pulled up a area of the precipitable water. So this thing, yet again, like many storms we've seen so far this year, especially in January, because of the warm temperatures, this storm will be loaded with moisture, and you can see that precipitation footprint is rather significant. Again, the blue doesn't indicate snow, but that is the precipitation of that the anomaly of how moist the atmosphere is with this system, and so that's why it's concerning with that dangerous severe weather potential. But there's snow and all that other good stuff with it as well, so I want to start talking about that. So let me start addressing that. Again, this video is split up into regions, so click on your respective area to see how you will be impacted using the scroll bar, or go to the description box below, click on the blue numbers next to your region, and it'll skip you right towards that. For now, let me start off with the Northwestern United States. So the Northwestern United States is an area that will be impacted by this system, but let's just say that already a lot of the impacts from this system are kind of done from you, because the track of the system hit the Southwest and for the most part avoided narrowly the Northwest. However, there will be activity from other storm systems and kind of features that I want to address. So let's start off with the GFS. I'll just show you the GFS because it's a short term, and again, the system isn't far out, so the disagreements amongst the European and GFS is pretty minimal and nothing really to go home about. So notice that as I play the GFS, we do have several areas of activities right now, mainly if you do consider northern Utah, northern Nevada, part of the Northwest. Again, it's kind of in between the Southwest and Northwest. You will be seeing some snow from the system in the coming hours into tonight and tomorrow. If you're watching the system tomorrow early in the morning, right, sorry, not the system, this video, say early in the morning Tuesday across Seattle or Portland, Idaho, Montana, this thing's mainly done for you. Across Colorado, especially northern areas, and southern Wyoming, especially southeastern areas, there will be a little bit of activity from the system as it moves out into the Central Plains, and you can see that is into late Tuesday and early Wednesday. However, by then, after that, this system's done. Notice though, we have more activity. Now this is a separate system, but I still want to address it because you can see as early as Wednesday, this thing could be hitting the coastal areas. I'm dropping snow across quite a large amount of areas. Seattle, Portland, not seeing snow, but definitely a cold rain. Do note that the mountainous areas will obviously pick up that snowfall into Northern California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Nevada, again, seeing additional snowfall. Not a monster storm, but again, a wave of precipitation that's gonna nonetheless bring snow there. And notice that for the most part, a cooler than normal pattern as we get into Friday. Saturday, you can see another disturbance moves its way through. I'll be obviously keeping you guys updated on any big storms, but for the most part, a quieter pattern compared to what we've been seeing. And again, the pattern that we have been seeing is has been really incredible. So that is definitely something that I want to address. And again, a quieter, calmer pattern is on its way for the Northwest. Overall, though, still some activity. And from the storm that's ongoing right now, the one that the title is about, again, the impacts are limited. Unlike the Northwest, the Southwest is going to be impacted a bit more significantly by the system, and it already has been impacted. If you were to take a look, sorry about that, on the radar, areas or people living in this area may just think that it's been pretty much non-stop raining there, and to the extent it has been, especially across California, so this system may not even seem like a separate system compared to all the storms you guys have been seeing, just blends in with the rest. However, do note there are advisories and warnings, and again, that's to do with this system that's currently ongoing. Notice the Sierra picking up some snow, or at least forecasted to. There have been already, most of the snow I would say has already fallen, but do notice that across, say, Sonora Pass, some other areas across southern and central Sierra could be picking up an additional foot or two by the time the night is over. So let me start timing this out for you using the HER model, which is, again, a model that doesn't really go out far in its range. It goes out 18 hours most hours, and then every 6 hours it goes out a bit further. But again, the Southwest is predominantly done. I should say California and Nevada, because Arizona and Mexico and portions of Colorado are still obviously going to be seeing some significant snow out of this. Notice again, by early tonight or late tonight, early tomorrow, the snow snow, again, wrapping up across Nevada, California, but you can see starts kicking up across Arizona, New Mexico, into Utah, Colorado through the day tomorrow, and this is what it looks like at 11 a.m. on January 17th. Now, if you take a look back at the HER model from earlier today, it allows us to go back or out a little bit further into time as opposed to just 18 hours. You can see this thing continues spreading into Colorado and Wyoming through the day on Tuesday and eventually into Wednesday. Again, you can see the snowfall amounts according to the HER model quite significant across portions of especially southern Wyoming, northern Colorado, and kind of the Four Corners area there across Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. And then you can see this thing moves out of here and starts affecting the north central United States. But by then you can see another system makes its way into the southwestern areas and the northwestern areas of the southwest here on Wednesday. But by Wednesday, everyone is all done with this system that I'm currently talking about. Total additional snow you can still see, again, the heaviest I would say is across southern Colorado, Utah, though you can see Wyoming picking up quite a bit, especially southern Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, and into the Sierra Nevada also picking up some additional snow, except this model run is a few hours old, so a lot of this snow has already fallen here. But nonetheless, yet another system, for the Southwest here. But again, it's been pretty obvious at this point that the systems will stop coming as frequently as they have been, and this is kind of like the last gut punch. I saw an article talking about that, and that's a pretty good description of that. There probably will be more activity, as you saw in the long range. There are really nothing comparable to what you guys have been seeing. And just to give you a taste of the long range, let me show you the GFS. Again, you can see there it shows that system wrapping up and that new wave, right? So again, another additional one. Though again, nothing incredible out of this. Some lighter rain amounts. Overall, precipitation will be on the lighter side. Though you can see continued disturbances coming in, but again, nothing compared to what you guys have been seeing whatsoever. So that is good news, right? And it's going to be chilly, so that's also something I wanted to note. Let's go to the north central United States. This is where we're going to start splitting up into two models because there are a lot of modeling differences and a lot of more features that are still uncertain. Again, right now we are dealing with the system, the one that I was talking about yesterday, that's going to be hitting today, and you can see it did. But again, the video is about the second one that could be a lot more significant. This one did drop quite a bit of rain across areas. Again, you can see now Minneapolis converting to snow. There could be a few inches there. Again, based on the way this setup is working, the snow is a little bit more robust than previously thought, and it's colder, so areas across northern Wisconsin, Minneapolis, don't be surprised to pick up a few inches, and then mainly elsewhere some light rain and snow as this thing wraps up and moves out. Though do note there are already winter storm warnings for, say, Colorado, Denver, North Platte, into Omaha winter storm watches, and this will probably be expanded into much of Iowa, Wisconsin, maybe portions of Illinois getting some winter weather advisories. So let's start tracking this. So according to the GFS, again, we don't see any activity from the new one up until early Wednesday. So Tuesday is still a dry slot in between systems for the most part, especially for the central areas here, Iowa, Minnesota. But do note that we do start seeing some very, very heavy snow. And unlike this system, the one that's currently ongoing, that's bringing quite a bit of light precipitation and light snowfall amounts, this one will be bringing some very heavy snowfall rates. And you can see this start spreading across Nebraska into potentially northern Kansas, obviously Colorado, eastern Colorado, so Denver, extreme southern South Dakota potentially getting in on this again, depending on exact track. You can see Iowa picking up quite a bit of snow, again, depending on exact track, but you can still see the GFS favors a very heavy snow swath across those areas into potentially Minneapolis again, Green Bay, Madison, Milwaukee, seeing again a rain-snow situation. And notice that into the UP of Michigan, into northern Michigan, also picking up quite a bit of that snowfall. And then you can see this system kind of disintegrates and falls in on itself. We're bringing only a few light snow showers and rain showers on Thursday and Friday for, say, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. On the southern side of this, you could see that Kansas, Missouri, southern Illinois, much of Indiana, I would say, Kentucky, West Virginia, much of Ohio, seeing rain out of this. You can see it could be pretty heavy, especially at times across Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio. Some thunderstorms. I wouldn't say severe at this level. The severe weather will be further south. You can see some heavy rain will be definitely occurring, and there will be some chill air that moves in behind this, so that's something also noteworthy. And then that's it. The system moves out of here relatively quickly. By Friday, it's mostly done. You can see it's a cooler pattern, not necessarily cold. Total snowfall, you can see though, combined from the two storm systems. So again, we do have the one that's currently ongoing, but again, that's predominantly leaving that snow towards the north here. And again, nothing too incredible. A few amounts that could get over 6 inches. But again, this new oncoming one that's going to be coming into the day late Tuesday mostly Wednesday and then through the day Thursday as it exits through Michigan into southeastern Canada. These areas here will be picking up, you can see easily a foot and a half, maybe even more of snow, especially towards Nebraska. If I already show you the National Weather Service official snowfall forecast, so let me go to, this is a cool feature on this website where you can see how much the National Weather Service thinks will be snowing in a model format. And you can see it's updated every single day. And you can see this is the official forecast, goes out to 72 hours. I would not be too focused on the snowfall amounts here because anything that I would say is past 48 hours, you can see they still give you a rough estimate of the snow. This is subject to change significantly. And I've sometimes seen, snowfall amounts that were predicted at hour 66 be completely different by the time you got to hour 12 or 18. But again, you can see the general track is favoring potentially up to a foot of snow across central, much of Nebraska there. I wouldn't say a foot for much of Nebraska, but much of Nebraska seeing snow with the heaviest axis across central Nebraska, northeastern Colorado. You can see northern Iowa, southern Minnesota. Again, where exactly this lines up is a bit tricky because if you take a look at a model like the European, overall, it shows a very similar system, so there's at least that. But the difference is that you can see it shows it a bit further towards the north. Des Moines, Iowa, maybe seeing some more mixing, maybe Dubuque, Iowa, also seeing a little bit more rain and snow, and again, just a little bit more of a southern track, and the snow could shift quite a bit towards the south, a little bit towards the north. Cities like St. Cloud, Minneapolis, maybe Aberdeen, even getting on a lot more snow than currently forecasted. So there's a lot of differences that could still be, I guess, made out to be more concise, but unfortunately at this time we don't have that ability. I do want to emphasize that also for some areas there could be a decent coating of ice, and if you look at some high-res models which are beginning to go out as far as the system's range, because this thing's still around 50-60 hours out. Most high-res don't go out that far, but today we did get one model run here from the RAP, the latest one, the RAP, that does show this system, and you can see what it does is, again, relatively similar to what the other models are showing, maybe a bit more northern with that snow expansion into South Dakota. Nothing really too notable, but I do want to say that you can see for it shows a lot more ice and shows a lot more stubborn cold in place, so that could lead to maybe some more snow and mixing across northern Illinois, maybe into northern Indiana, southern Wisconsin. That's something to note as well. Again, will this happen? Is this an ongoing trend? Probably not. Again, I would say the GFS and European, and especially what the National Weather Service have put out is relatively accurate with regards to that snowfall footprint. And you can see, again, mainly areas south of this will be predominantly snow or rain. So that is also something I wanted to show you. You can see total rain accumulations, especially across these areas here. Ohio River Valley could be quite significant rainfall. Again, nothing really too severe to note from that. So let's go to the south central United States. Again, for you guys, it's a little bit less of which model is right, because for you, there's more of a severe weather thing. Obviously, some model differences will have different implications on this. Again, for you guys right now, you guys are mainly done with the system. The first one that's ongoing right now, that's moved up towards the north of you. So Tuesday, again, a dry slot day, but by early Wednesday, we see some rain showers developing across Oklahoma, Kansas, heavy snow potentially across northern Kansas and Colorado. And notice that, again, there could be some severe weather beginning to spark up late Wednesday and into Thursday. You can see some of these colors are being pretty intense. So again, that this will be mainly late Wednesday into Thursday across Arkansas, Louisiana, eastern Texas, maybe into Tennessee. Also some severe weather stretching up there. Rain of the non-severe type, most likely through Missouri, Oklahoma, Louisiana. Louisiana getting back into an area that could see severe weather, Mississippi and Alabama as well. But you can see this thing clears it pretty quickly. By a Thursday morning, if you wake up across the south central United States and you haven't really seen any bad severe weather, consider yourself lucky. This thing's mainly done for you, with temperatures running a little bit above average. So again, no massive cool down behind this. Total accumulated precipitation, you can see staying light really across much of Texas, which is unfortunate here. Areas are really in need of some heavy rain. They're in a bad drought, and notice that it's mainly, again, north of, I would say, Oklahoma City. Tulsa maybe getting on some heavier rain, but again, you could have a stray thunderstorm or two that passes through here that may make your localized area seem like it's getting drowned. But while for the most part, you can see though the region is predominantly dry. The European model relatively same with its rainfall footprint. Again, we're not really worried about snow here, which makes this a little easier. At least it's not like chaotic or rain, snow, and then how much of rain, snow, and where. So at least it's just rain, but you can still see the European, again, favors mainly areas north of Texas, but eastern Texas could get clipped, and into Oklahoma as well. Some areas of thunderstorms, but again, for the most part, pretty dry here. But again, wetter towards, especially as you get towards the Mississippi River. I do want to say that severe weather will be a little bit of a concern here. Again, I mentioned that on Wednesday, especially into potentially, again, eastern Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi, maybe potentially stretching into Tennessee. And we might even see an enhanced risk getting issued, which I would not be surprised. As again, with that last severe weather event, right, it seems like if it was just an enhanced, nothing was too significant, but there was tornadoes that occurred, and they just so happened to come across areas that were populated, and they caused quite a bit of destruction. So again, that just goes to show you that it does not have to be moderate or even enhanced for you guys to take this threat seriously, and this storm will have pretty much what it takes in order for this to be taken seriously. So that is that for the South Central United States. I'll be obviously keeping you guys updated tomorrow and on the day Wednesday into Thursday. Let's go across the Northeast now. This is yet another area that, unfortunately, not like the South Central United States. This thing's going to be very similar towards the North Central United States, where we not only have track differences and which model is right, but we also have precipitation differences, and many cities that are potentially going to see some snow, some rain, a little bit of both, a little bit of nothing. So let me start showing you this by model. Let's start off with the GFS. Again, right now you guys are still dealing with that remnant of that first system, that first of three. So you can see this one was mainly affecting New England, so upstate New York, Pennsylvania, much of the Mid-Atlantic wasn't really impacted by this, but it did drop some decent snow. I saw there was some 4 to 5 inch amounts across Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and it's still snowing, raining, mixing ice across here, the main area, and into potentially south, and yeah, much of New Brunswick there, and Nova Scotia. But that's going to move out of here pretty quickly, and you're going to start dealing with this system, which again you can see is just really promoting a few winter weather advisories across upstate New York, mainly for some ice. Again, no real significant snow for you guys with the second one. However, the third one that the main title is about will be impacting you. So notice that into the day Tuesday, a little bit of snow, ice potentially across upstate New York, southeastern Canada, a little bit of snow, but predominantly, again, nothing to really be worried about. I mean, as we go into the day on Wednesday and Thursday, or at least through the day Wednesday, a little bit of snow shower activity, and again, temperature staying moderate. So even if ice does occur across upstate New York with this little disturbance into the day tomorrow, it's going to be mainly gone quickly as that warmer temperatures overspread out ahead of that new system on Wednesday or on early Thursday. This one is a little bit more concerning, and there's a few reasons. So notice that it obviously has a lot more vigor. So moderate to light to moderate rain overspreading much of Pennsylvania, West Virginia. So if you live across those areas, no real snow concern for you, at least for now. You can see, though we do see some heavier snow across southeastern Canada into large metros there. Eventually, though, this system really starts developing potentially a coastal low pressure, which the European shows differently than the European, but you can see that the GFS does show some snow starting to develop across New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, potentially Massachusetts. You can see, though, the rain staying pretty dominant form. Maybe as the cool air pulls in, though, you can see that some snow begins to form more widespread than initially was, and then it moves out of here. So overall, I wouldn't say this thing looks absolutely incredible for the Northeast, but I would say that the GFS has kind of a poor handling on this, so I want to show you the European, because what the GFS shows is really not that impressive. I mean, some of the snow may be impressive further towards the north here, but even for Vermont, New Hampshire, I mean, 6-7 inches, that's not too bad. And there could be some again larger amounts across southeastern Canada, but I do believe the European has a more accurate scenario, and it has a little bit of a more aggressive scenario. And I don't believe it's more accurate because it's more aggressive. It's because the European has been more correct with this track all along, while the GFS has been kind of incorrect and tagging along, correcting itself as time goes out. Notice, just like the GFS, the European shows the initial band of rain moving in here. Again, mainly rain, though there could be a little bit of snow on the northern side, but as that warm air overflows, many areas, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Delaware, anywhere along the coast, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, you guys are going to be mainly dealing with that rainfall. There will be some more stubborn cold, again, across New Hampshire, Vermont, upstate New York, where some of that rainfall begins falling as snow and stays as snow. And you can see as this low pressure develops, which the European develops it pretty quickly and strongly, it could deliver a little bit of snow that's pretty heavy into New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, into Maine, and again, potentially southeastern Canada, though not a massive system for you guys nonetheless. Bigger, though, than what we have been seeing with, the past two events, I would say. So total precipitation, again, for many areas falling, let's go back to Saturday and drag this out because there will be more activity just following the storm. But you can see again, there's still a generous area of potentially an inch to even more of rainfall. And total snowfall, though, you can see is a little bit more significant, with potentially maybe even northern Massachusetts getting on some heavier snow there. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, something that's definitely a little bit more concerning as the system, according to the European, develops into something a bit more significant. I'll keep you guys updated. It's still a little bit away, to say the least, for the northeast areas. Let's go to the southeast. Again, this is another area that will be impacted by the system, though thankfully won't have as many forecast issues as, say, the northeast or north central United States. You can see there is currently a cold front that will be moving through the southeast tomorrow. That is from the first system. By Wednesday, it's mainly done, but we see that new system moving in, the one that the title is talking about. And you can see that there is potential severe weather threat, again, across Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana. So if you consider that part of the southeast, that's definitely something to worry about. And into the day on Thursday, there could also be some thunderstorms spreading, some strong ones, maybe some isolated severe ones into Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. Though I do want to say this is going to be nothing like what we saw with the previous event. It's going to be a lot weaker, and this cold front pretty much falls apart by the time it reaches the Carolinas, the Virginias, and again, Florida, Georgia. Not really seeing much action out of this at all, with also very minimal cold air. So from this thing, the total snow or accumulated precipitation, you can see again mainly the rainfall across kind of the central southeast here, with really minimal areas toward rain towards the coast of the Atlantic Ocean and both the Gulf of Mexico. If you take a look at the European model and how it plays out this system hour by hour, again, relatively similar, weakening that cold front as it goes along. Though again, it's thunderstorms, so they could stay put together for a little bit longer than expected, and that could cause quite a difference. Mississippi, again, southeastern Louisiana, you will be seeing thunderstorms. Alabama, I would say for the most part too, but by the time you get into Georgia, both the Carolinas into Florida, it really starts weakening, and not really much of anything results of it. However, I do want to say that in the long range, and let's just give a total United States and southeastern Canada view here. In the long range, things look active for both, pretty much all regions, excluding maybe the Northwest and Southwest compared to where you guys have come from. It will get a bit more quieter, but notice that on Saturday, Sunday, another system could come through, bringing some more severe weather that could be a lot more significant across the southeast, some heavier snow, maybe across areas that haven't seen much, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, again, how far north or south this system goes. And then GFS developed some sort of a system which could really bring some snow, again, across areas that haven't seen it, some heavy rain, severe weather again, and prolonged period of cold, most likely, and active wintry weather. And that could potentially stretch way into February. I did see Ryan Hall's video today uploaded, and then one of the segments, it was saying that February may be hotter than what January was. It's at this point he was using teleconnections to talk about that. I wouldn't say that there are really any reasonable signs that February will be warm, or quite even warmer than what January has been, which has already been by itself kind of record-breaking. So I would steer away from that for now. However, it's definitely a possibility, but through at least the end of January, starting now, there will be an increased cold air mass. And I don't really see that, and the models don't really show that moving away into at least the first half of February. But we'll see. I do believe at one point in February there will be a sharp warm-up, but I think that might stave off for a little bit longer than expected. All right, that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next episode. See ya. Bye.